I am not a signatory to company fingered in Betta Edo's contract allegation, Interior Minister says. Hey, Minister Tunji-Ojo, you cannot escape this one now. Eh? Company that you own with your wife and you are in the government and you understand the principle of conflict of interest and you understand what all of that law says. So did you declare this to Code of Conduct Bureau when you took office? Did you declare all of this? So you cannot escape this. Well, let's dive into the details to see exactly what he's trying to say, the excuse he's trying to give. The Minister of Interior, Olabunmi Tunji-Ojo, has denied being a signatory to the company involved in the contract allegations linked with the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs. An investigation conducted by Sahara reporters disclosed that a company allegedly owned by Tunji-Ojo allegedly received 438 million naira as consultancy fees from the suspended Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Betta Edu. Reacting to the allegation in an interview on Channels Television's Politics Today, he said, "I am not a signatory to the company." So the company, New Planet Project Limited, was one of the consultants awarded contracts worth 3 billion naira given out by the suspended minister for the National Social Register contract. Mr. Tunji-Ojo's wife, Abimbola Ojo, is now the director of the company who runs the day-to-day activities with Mr. Bumi Tunji-Ojo remaining the beneficial owner of the company. The social register was created for cash transfers and other social investment programs. Recall that Edu had been in the news for asking the Accountant General of the Federation, Mrs. Oluwatoyin Sikirat Mudin, to send public funds to a private account that belonged to Oniyelu Bridget Mojishola, identified as a project manager by the minister. So the minister had approved that 585 million naira should be disbursed into a personal account that belongs to Mojishola. So it approved funds, flight tickets. Okay, it approved funds for flight tickets and airport taxes for her team from Abuja to Kogi State, even though the latter has no airport. Meanwhile, President Bola Tinubu on Monday suspended Edu and ordered an investigation into the allegation or alleged fraudulent activities of the minister. Okay, so what is happening now is that Tunji-Ojo is trying to deny connection with that company. Okay, with the company that he owned with his wife. Even though he's not a minister, he has not resigned from being a director or chairman CEO of that company. He remains the beneficial owner of that company. Even though he might not be a signatory to the account for fund movement, but is he a director? Yes. So this is even more complicated, or it's more implicating in the first place. Because first of all, when he was made a minister, now it's a requirement that he should have declared all of this when he was declaring his asset. Did he even declare his asset and declare everything he does with the Code of Conduct Bureau? That is another question that somebody would need to ask. If you didn't declare that, that's another violation on one side. If you declare that, that's fine. But again, if you declare that, why did you allow the company to take contract from government that you are serving directly under? That is not allowed. Even though he resigned, like in one publication, he was saying that he resigned since 2009 or so, he's no longer a member. But so long his wife is a member or who still own that company, he should have declared it and should have told the government that, look, my wife owns this company, I'm no longer a member. So if they give the contract, well, I don't have a hand in it. Did you make all those declarations? No. Now that you are being fingered, you are now saying that you are not a signatory to the account. The question is not whether you are signatory to the account. The question is that, are you still a director of that company? Does that company still exist? Is your wife still running that company? All those are the questions. If all the answers are yes, then you are guilty as charged until investigation is over. So you cannot exonerate yourself easily like that. Okay, and I know that this 3 billion naira from the humanitarian affairs is going to rope in so many people because That's why some people are saying that this woman, Betta Edu, is not acting alone. People are working with her. And probably this Tunji-Ojo might be one of those high-powered politicians from that Tinubu that are working with her in this issue. By the time they investigate this thing more, I'm sure more things will come out. We have also seen how Betta Edu approved flight tickets and airport taxes for her team members to go to Kogi State. Kogi that does not have airport. What is the plan? Are you landing somewhere in Benin? Or are you landing somewhere in Benue, Makode, and they use road to complete the journey? What is the distance between Abuja and Kogi that you, a Lokoja, that you cannot use road if at worst case, or the train? There's a train between Abuja and that area. Okay, so you are not able to use any of the available means of transportation for your people. You approved money for a means of transport that does not exist. This woman, by the time they grill and more will come out. I tell you. So now Tunji-Ojo is trying to remove his head, but it's not going to be possible because by the time Code of Conduct Bureau will be invited into this matter to see whether Tunji-Ojo, whether he declared that company when he was taking office, we will know the truth. So let's see. There are a few comments. People have made some comments, and somebody is saying more heads will roll in the coming days if discreet investigations are carried out. The woman, Dr. Betta Edu, has dragnets everywhere. She has dragnets everywhere. She couldn't have acted solely. It is like it was a consortium of thieves operating as companies for the benefit of the vulnerable people, even though they never saw a dime. So from the immediate past minister to the current one, they were in cohort, okay, to sleaze the government, So God of the poor and vulnerable caught up with them. I think 9 companies have been listed that are beneficiaries of that 3 billion naira. And out of those 9 companies, almost 4 of them are not in existence. They are just names on paper. And that means that woman Betta Edu and Sadiya Farouk will have more to say about that 3 billion naira that is missing. Very bad system, I tell you. Women of that matter, even Betta Edu, 37 years old young girl that will be thinking of a better life and how to make Nigeria a great place, is torn now. Now Buhari is right now when he said that Nigerian youths are lazy or are this and that. Now they say youth came up to say they not too young to rule. Okay, not too young to rule. Youths are now brought into power, and look at what the youths are doing. So now it is not too young to steal. It's a very terrible situation we're finding ourselves now. All right, another comment here. Somebody said, you have been performing as a good minister, but you ought not to be involved with this kind of contract. Let the government investigate this and take appropriate action. Exactly. Tunji-Ojo has been working as an interior minister and has tried to revolutionize the immigration system, and he's been applauded for that. But again, in the face of doing a good job, are you involved in shady deals? Yes. And that means that even in that interior ministry, if something is checked, you can see how probably funds would have been misappropriated at some point. So if actually he is found wanting or involved in this Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs saga, then that Ministry of Interior will also need to be investigated. It means that some more contract would have gone to his own company under him as well, because he knows exactly the implication of being in power and using your company or your relative's company to get contract. He understands the implication very well, but he decided to do it quietly because probably he has some godfathers in power that will not let anything happen to him. Will that happen? No. After all, Betta Edu was sponsored and nominated by the president's wife, but now Aso Rock has rejected her. So that means that when the scandal is getting too much, getting too bloody and too dirty, you will be rejected. Everybody will answer his father's name. That is it. Someone else is saying, What you are accused of is you and your wife are directors of the company into whose account the money was paid. Here, that is the question. So they didn't ask you whether you are a signatory to the account or not. Are you a director in that company? Yes or no? So if you're a director in that company, whether it's signatory to the account or not, you must have influenced the company, the contract award to that company by your position as a minister. This is minister talking to minister now. So you are a director, you are a director. Whether it's signatory to the account or not, it's not the issue. You have stake in that company. Directly or indirectly, that's your own. You have to answer the questions coming to you now. Yeah? And somebody is asking here, but are you a director? You just said you are not signatory to the account of that company where the money is moved into. But the question is, are you a director? If the answer is yes, then you have questions to answer. You have questions to answer.